We are speaking now with Dr. Annie Morrow, a licensed clinical psychologist with South Florida Integrative Medicine. And we're talking about going back to school in this current climate, dealing with COVID and wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. So let's start with, what can parents proactively do to help their kids have a really successful return to in-person school? Dr. Morrow?
I think what would be really helpful this fall is for parents as well as educators to take all of what you're saying, all of that context into account, and to set expectations that really support students. This is a really challenging time. And I think if we go in with really sky high expectations in every single subject and social emotional and this and that, it just puts so much pressure. So just taking a deep breath as we go into this fall, setting expectations.
Slow down, baby steps here. We've also heard of something called the COVID slide. What is that?
So there is not, a clear defined, definition for the COVID slide. Personally, I've heard the word slide to describe what happens to testing scores. So throughout the school year, students are learning. They tend to have their test scores go up. And it is common that test scores will slump a little bit during the summer months. I've heard people say that, that same phenomenon is happening during the COVID slide. I've heard people say that for individual students and as well at the district level. So that's just a little bit on that subject.
Okay, that makes sense. And when it comes to stress, we know everyone has a little bit of stress, but when is it unhealthy for kids? When is the level unhealthy?
Yeah, so I think this is something that's really individualized and customized for each family. So there are certain families where really high pressure, high achieving academic environments are exactly what that family is looking for. And there are other families where cherishing quality time together as a family is the most important thing in the world. So what could be really healthy in one family, studying hours and hours a day in order to get into the most prestigious school, could be really healthy for one kid, exactly what they wanted, and it might not fit for another family in a different situation. So really looking inward and thinking about what matters to you, what matters to your family, and spending time on that is what I recommend.
Perfect advice. And we've also heard of this psychological or psychoeducational evaluation. What is that, and why would you do it?
Absolutely. So there are comprehensive psychological evaluations that people of any age could get. Psychoeducational evaluations are comprehensive assessments that are geared towards supporting school-aged children, adolescents, and young adults. And really what the focus on is understanding, what are a student's strengths and weaknesses, and what supports or accommodations might be necessary or helpful in order to have that student thrive.
All right, makes sense. Dr. Annie Morrow, South Florida Integrative Medicine, thank you so much for your insight. Makes going back to school just a little bit easier. Thanks so much.